All right, welcome back, everybody, to Surviving Hollywood Podcast. My name's Austin.
My name is Aaron.
And I'm Johnny.
And we are recording this very late. It's not even evening, it's morning
It's
now.
1 a.m. right now.
But you know what? We're serving you guys. The fans, we're out here doing our deed to make sure you guys are getting informed to what's coming up next.
And we just recorded an hour and maybe 20-minute podcast.
Felt like a 2-hour podcast.
It felt like 95 minutes to me.
It was a little different from normally, right? It was like normally we do like the interview.
What I liked is today we were with a peer in the space, Johny Day.
It was more of a hangout because this is a guy we've done acting scenes with, our friend.
Fellow actor, opinionist.
The conversation, maybe it's because it was a late night, maybe it's because he's a peer. It was raw, it was real, and it was just honest about life in LA, auditioning, acting in LA.
It was kind of life and acting, right?
In 2019.
Yeah, we started talking about life in general, life in 2019, and then we got into the acting.
Yeah, we touched a little bit about dating. We touched a little bit about survival jobs. It was a little bit of everything, right? Politics.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Now, I really liked this episode. I was happy to have Johnny on, and we talked about a bunch of different things, but something that surprised me, and maybe you can see if you kind of notice this as you're watching, but as soon as the podcast got turned off, and we were just hanging out like we normally do, he told us he was basically thinking about...
He dropped a bombshell.
Yeah, maybe. It's
Huge
not,
bomb.
It's not definite, and this is something we all think of, but he talked about maybe I'm going to leave LA and stop acting.
Quite a shock, actually.
That's what he said.
Real bummer.
But it's something we all think about.
But the podcast was still great. He told us that after the podcast.
Totally. Yeah, the podcast was fantastic, but the...
well, it was a bummer for us because it's like...
we're all friends.
He didn't really have a sure thing. I'm going to do this instead. It's more like, I don't know if this is something I want to pursue, but I don't really have something that I do want to pursue because it was kind of just like up in the air, and it was kind of a bummer in that regard, but...
Also, he's been in LA for 2 years. We've been in LA for 5, 7+ years. So he's new.
And he's a really good actor.
Yeah,
That's why he's our friend.
We try to convince him of otherwise. Like, hey, man, like, you haven't been here that long. Like, I think you should just double think this real quick before you make such a rash decision. But
And if you're listening right now, Johnny Day, just think about it, man.
Well, he hasn't listened to one episode at all, so why would he start with this one?
well, hopefully
True.
he does with this one.
No, he will.
But you know what? I think in a way, like, it's also kind of good because, let's be real, all of us in some form or another have thought about, like, man, times are hard out here. Like, I don't know if I should keep doing this. Like, you have second thoughts. I think it's okay.
The problem is, unless you get a certain amount of wins in whatever career you choose, it's just like the pressure against you is so hard.
I actually think
Johnny has got wins. He's booked stuff.
you should leave. You're taking away parts from me.
Same casting.
Anyway, when you're listening to this interview, it's more of a hangout, really. When you're listening to this, see if you can kind of pick up on the bombshell he dropped to us after we turned the mics off. And besides that, just see if you relate in how it was mainly talking about us just living in Los Angeles in 2019. Let us know. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Check it out.
And keep expectations low.
Medium.
Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live in Hollywood. Hollywood, Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live a life in Hollywood. I'ma survive. I'ma survive. I'ma survive. I'ma survive. Hollywood.
I want to hear how you're feeling, dude. We got our guest here, so let's.
I think increasingly LA seems like the sort of main challenge is just psychological maintenance. Mm-hmm. And if you can do that and you can find a way to enjoy your time here on a day-to-day basis and just maintain at least a state of like equilibrium, something important happening.
Now, why do you say that exactly?
Just because it's hard to do that out here, especially because a lot of people come with no real, existing attachments. They're leaving their families, they're leaving their communities.
For a dream.
Assuming they even had one to begin with, and I imagine a lot of people come out here because they didn't really find one. So they're always having to sort of like forge new connections out here, and it's like, it's not easy to do. I mean,
Is that the loneliness? Is that the hardest part about Los Angeles?
what's that? And it's also sort of, loneliness is fine if everything is sort of balanced. I wouldn't say you can sort of stand to be a little bit alone if you're actively engaged in doing what you like or what you came out here to do.
But sometimes it's hard to be doing what you like when you have to just survive. You know?
Right. If you're lonely, that, I mean, the sort of the toll that it takes over time, and in, you know, survival jobs, all that stuff, finding one that actually kind of works for you, not meeting your sort of hierarchy of needs makes the higher pursuits, the thing you came out here to do, the art, all the more difficult to do. I think sometimes people probably get lucky and get to doing the art early, and then the kind of rest of it falls in place.
Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes a combination of luck and skill, right?
I'm not saying that it's not skill, but in general,
But you think it's a lot to do with luck.
I mean, it's just circumstances, and sometimes, yeah. I mean,
But I would agree with you. Like, one of the things that you do have control of when you get out here is you find a tribe.
Right.
Like, you find people. You got to find your own family because you're coming here and nobody cares about you. So you, like, we found that through our acting class.
Or if you don't want a family, then
there's also that, yeah.
Well,
that
in
too?
Johnny's house,
I live alone, and I always will.
Koreatown, right? What's your address?
855. All right, I'm done. I hear it, man. I hear it. So surviving, dude. Surviving in this town can be very hard.
Some of
right?
us cheat, real quick. Some of us cheat and just bring our families with us.
Our family came also.
Well,
Dude,
they,
yeah,
they
these
love
guys-
us.
Yeah. Some of us have somebody that looks exactly like the other one.
Oh, so when you call your mom, what are those conversations like?
Okay.
She's supportive of you.
The mother that loves me?
Well, your mom is your support system. She's back in Washington, right?
Dude,
I don't want to get too
Maryland,
specific.
Virginia.
she lives in the White House, right?
It's great. She's very supportive, yeah. And that's kind of my point. It'd be almost impossible to imagine being out here without somebody in your corner to some degree. And I think I'm increasingly aware of just how difficult it is for a lot of people who don't have that. And I'm totally lucky that I do.
So my
Speaking of luck.
argument to that though is, so I moved out here, didn't have any family, still don't have any family. However, I feel like if I came here and there was a lot of friends that I had from back home or family or whatever, I would consider those all distractions.
Yeah.
Because then what happens is like, you know, I really should work on this script or this audition, but then your friends are like, dude, we're going to the club or we're doing this.
Happy
or
hour.
your family's like, hey, but we're having a birthday party here.
'Cause your
I
friends-
need to come do this. And you're like, I got to work on this, but all right, I'm going to go with my family.
Well,
You know
because
what I mean?
your friends who you grew up with you're just like goofing around with them because that was what you did when you were
Also, they work 9 to 5.
younger.
Like, you know, we're studying those scripts at night or whatever.
Sure.
Or
But
the day job.
come the weekend, they're like, hey, man, let's go out and do something. And then you're like, well, I really got to work on this or whatever it is. I feel like it's more of a distraction.
I actually don't have any friends besides the people I do stuff with.
I know a guy who deliberately does not pursue relationships because he's just like, that's
Don't
just
want
not
distraction.
what I'm doing here. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't come here to get a girlfriend. I came here
That's
to play a
Clear.
boyfriend.
Maybe he's
That's very
asexual.
clear.
Maybe he's asexual.
maybe
Maybe you can't get a date.
he's
That's an excuse.
me. Can't get
Wait,
that at all.
but your mom is really supportive. Could you see, for you specifically, and we can go
Not
around
only
the-
my mom, but also my dad.
well, you never bring them up,
believe
dude.
it or not.
If you were pushing,
I didn't think you grew up with a man in the house, but
Okay.
if you were, and we can go around the table, if you were pushing 45 and you had not really got any, legit acting role, would they still be supportive? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. I would like.
it's a lot of
probably-
unanswered things, you know.
To some
It's-
degree.
It's like,
I mean,
how did you get there?
That's a terrifying prospect, and I think it's one that a lot of people confront all the time.
I'm sure people think about it constantly.
Well, hopefully their happiness is separate from you. Of course, they care about you, but
Yeah, I mean, I
They just don't want to see you suffer. That's all.
right. I mean, I think it would stem more from a point of just being like, I don't want you to be in this state of real distress.
They want you-
Do you
they
guys
want-
feel like you have that kind of support, or have you experienced a real pressure to not
Our parents
what you're doing?
are extremely supportive, which scares me.
Good for you.
And you have no family to
No,
speak
it's
of?
really nice.
Apparently.
My family was not that supportive when I moved here.
Well, something I've learned from this podcast is Latino families aren't supportive of the arts. You know.
Well, I just don't have it.
Whoa.
Nobody.
That's what Johnny said in the last podcast.
No. Well, I mean, there is some truth to that, but I think it's because it's not ingrained in the culture. Like it's like
Be a lawyer.
it's a very blue collar family.
Is
You know
that what
I
you're
mean?
talking about, or no?
Yeah. Well, it's very blue collar. It's like you get a job at whatever, doing something for 30 years and retire, and that's it. That's life. And so when you say to someone like, "Hey, I want to be a painter, I want to be a photographer, this and that," it's like
You're all of those.
that doesn't really like. How do you make money doing that? Like that, it doesn't process.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I would imagine that in places or communities where pursuing the arts was common or popular, it's like you have generational sort of support networks that have been established, and like
Right.
you're okay to move out and explore.
Yeah, like I in my family, like I don't have anybody that's an artist except I got one cousin who is a phenomenal painter, but he never really made any money doing it.
But
So it's like,
If he died.
But I also don't think in
Maybe.
our family growing up, although very supportive, just generally in our extended family, nobody was, artists were not the way to go.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
thought acting was like a fun little hobby.
It's like learn a trade, you know?
yeah, exactly. Learn a trade. Learn a trade.
Yeah, I maybe should have.
No?
I got 4 years of college. I'm not using
We got 4
I mean,
years of
I-
college.
4 years.
What'd you go to
of-
college?
what?
What'd you go to
Anything.
college for?
English. I was gonna say that you were a journalism
Eng-
major, right?
I mean, a lot of good it did me.
Right.
Well,
But I mean,
you were on radio for a while, right?
I mean, I was.
Oh, that was Howard Stern. Sorry.
wow, dude.
But you studied English. How do you feel about Chaucer?
I was a little after that.
I mean, English is so
Focus on-
general. What was
Yeah,
your-
it's just like
English lit.
so
poetry.
general.
Verb.
all the classics, huh?
Subject, verb, conjugation.
The worst grade I ever got in college was in English grammar, which is a 400 level class.
And you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna be an
Right, yeah,
actor.
I was like, I don't need them. It's like,
They're gonna
me
write
talk
it for me.
just fine. Like me talk good. So
But speaking
No, it is.
of the just like the support.
I wasn't done. I'm sorry.
no, Johnny,
Keep
finish.
going, keep going.
No, I was done.
No, I wanted to hear.
You're the- you're the guest.
Filibuster.
I just
this.
wanted to see that
Yes.
look in his eyes.
Well,
when I
it was just a
interrupted him.
follow-up question.
Fucking
It was just a
vicious.
follow-up
All right,
question. Sorry,
proceed.
I was too interested. That was the problem. But well, Johnny, this is directly to you. Speaking of that support system, dude, is it hard to find? Okay, full disclosure, we're all single at this table. Single?
More or less.
Why is it so hard to find a relationship in Los Angeles, or do you even think it is?
I think that all kinds of misbehavior and missed expectations take place in every big city and every small town across America. I mean, I don't think there's a place where like people aren't,
They're hooking up.
they're hooking up and they're doing all the other stuff and everything is happening everywhere. But I mean, it would just be weird. I think there's like, I'll tell a story. So I went on a date, and you guys, I think I may have told you this before, but I went on a date with an escort who I didn't know was an escort.
I don't know this. Dude.
Okay. So there's a girl at the
Great
place I
story
worked.
already.
Um,
Girl, you work with, you said?
no, who came into where I work, restaurant. And
She was attractive.
She was attractive, and we kind of made eye contact for, long enough.
She was working at that time, or she was just
She was just alone eating. Okay.
off the clock.
She wasn't with a John. And
She was looking for the next hustle.
well,
Always be
I
closing.
don't know, but she left, and sort of on her way out, I approached her and was like, hey, you want to get a drink sometime?
Because you were getting the eye from her.
Because I was getting the eye. All right.
You're a good-looking guy.
Thank you.
So hold on, before we go any further, what was the approach like? I want to hear what that was like.
You wanna
I want
hear
the
my-
detail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is your technique?
Now, was she out walking out the door? Did you stop her? Was it like a, hey?
My friend
what?
said something very interesting once. And he's big into game stuff, which I don't really
Gay
follow.
stuff.
So you gave her,
Game.
so you gave her a neg.
I did not give her a neg, but he said that I like to let women kind of get away from me and then I like to sort of run after them because it just kind of like
The chase.
gets me pumped up. Sort of. I was like, that's interesting, and I've sort of found that works. And so she was on her way out, and I kind of ran out, and I was just, I don't waste time. I'm just like, hey, thought you were, really cute. And I was just wondering if you want to get a drink sometime, get coffee. Coffee's a safer ass in general.
I like coffee. Coffee's safe.
She was thinking, loser.
No, she was thinking,
Ask me for a beer.
She was thinking winner, dude.
No, she was.
This guy got the date.
you're gonna run out. You're gonna run out.
Is
dude.
it? I feel like coffee's the play though, because coffee's cheap. And if you don't like the person and there's nothing there, you can be like, well, spent $4 and see you later.
But don't you
You
need
can
that?
bounce.
Don't you need that?
It can also transition into
Absolutely. You can
drink?
transition like, hey, that was great. Let's continue
Why
on.
don't you just do a drink? It's
I prefer alcohol.
because-
it's
it's
$30 to get a few drinks.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
but then they feel like they owe you. Oh. Nah,
the
just kidding.
implication.
Yeah, we don't. You,
Continue. All right,
because
continue
the,
with the
the-
story.
The flow. is
Just kidding.
important.
Continue the story. Here we go.
Okay, so we went out. And it was in the course of the conversation over text. It was like, let's
Whoa,
get it.
hold on. You little backtrack. So you approached her.
Approached her. She said yes. Got her
Okay.
number.
Okay.
Went home.
Very quick interaction.
Just boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Right.
And
And then a lot of like, people will say yes, and then they don't actually mean yes. And
don't I know it?
Right.
But the conversation went fine. We decided to get a drink, and we went to a bar in my neighborhood. And I promise this does have a point. In the course of the whole interaction, she, mentioned being sort of a model, wanting to be sort of an actress. Started talking about her background, which is very bizarre, adopted, just had a sort of complicated life story. And seemingly very sort of out of place person without a strong kind of background safety net around her. And she mentioned sort of living in this really nice area, and I jokingly was like, "Oh, like what are you, an escort?" Sort of joke, and she hesitated. I know it sounds bad, but
I prefer the term prostitute.
and she was basically just like, "Yes," and I was like, "Oh, okay, wow."
Check, please.
Well,
Interesting.
some people won't tell you.
Some people wouldn't tell me. Wouldn't tell
She
you.
was very clear.
Yeah, she was very clear and
Transparent.
very nice person. I did not continue the date and was,
You left.
Whoa. You ended it right there?
Yeah.
So it was a sure thing. You could have got laid, and you were like,
But you were a freebie. She wasn't charging you.
She wasn't charging me. But
Nice,
that,
dude.
well, why? So that was a
Yeah.
deal breaker.
to me, that was a sort of deal breaker.
Wait, so what
But
did you say?
Here was
Hey,
my,
you know what? That's not going to work. See you later.
I was like, I just can't quite deal with that right now. Thank you for telling me. I was very appreciative. I was
Alpha
glad
move.
But the point is that on some level, she's probably doing what a lot of people do out here, just without kind of labeling it as such. And if you're going to come out here and as far as dating out here is concerned, there's so much money. There's so many resources. There's so many people with connections. There's so many people with just the ability to really help you in ways that you may not have had earlier. I just think that when there's that much kind of available to people, the dating game changes a little bit, and there's less of an expectation about settling down and making a relationship work, and maybe there's a little bit more about well, I'm here for my career. So many people are here for their career, and it's I kind of want to partner up with somebody who is gonna meet all of my emotional requirements, but also maybe can help me make it, because that's
So
what
you
I
want
came
a
here to do.
producer, you want a director, you want someone that's going to give you jobs. That's
Female
what you're saying.
Weinstein.
Saying that this is going to apply to both genders.
So I'm curious though, why you ended it so quickly?
Yeah, it seems a little rude.
Yeah, a little rushed.
Well, I asked her a little bit about it. I asked how she met people.
How much does it cost? Like,
But
what-
just
How
you should
much?
have
How
finished
much?
the date though. and
yeah,
You can have fun from there.
what was
Yeah.
what was the end of the date?
you could have just had a good time
Just
and
finish-
hung out.
yeah.
We'd been hanging out for hours. We had a long conversation.
All right.
All right, it seems like a little abrupt.
But this is what I picture. You looked at her again, and she was a little older, a little more weathered.
okay.
And you finally saw her.
No, she was.
She kept looking at her phone. You're like, oh my god.
We had a very nice time. It was sad. It was sad, but it was I didn't want to
But she would give it all up for you.
Was she
Oh my
disappointed?
God. Was she disappointed?
Yeah. Did she feel weird about
I'm sure she was.
I'm sure she was. Sure she was.
But did she give you like an inkling of like, I shouldn't have said anything?
A little bit, sure.
And you were like, you were right.
I mean,
you
I
shouldn't have.
nah, but I don't know. It was just it was a rough moment. It was actually like it was very kind of. I'm sure it was worse for her, but it was also kind of bad for me in the sense that I did feel guilty about it.
Did she tell you what?
But worse
she
for
was
her.
like-
But
Yeah.
worse for
Well,
her.
I don't know.
Did you tell?
Maybe she was happy to be relieved of my presence.
Okay.
Very
Did she
possible.
tell you what she was looking for though? Like what does she want?
She just
$200.
No, I did not get into specifics. 'Cause
$150.
I didn't want it. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
No idea.
All right. Well,
Wouldn't it be fun to
saying,
wouldn't it be fun to date a professional though?
You think so?
okay.
Is that what?
She could teach.
Yeah.
Boy, could she
She'd be
teach.
into anything.
That's possible.
But
I mean, I can probably.
yeah, give me your number.
Okay.
But I would say to the original question, is it harder to date in LA? I would just say it's harder to date after college. And it doesn't matter what
because
city
if you're
you're
in Ohio and you're dating, people kind of know, oh, I'm going to find my sweetheart in college or right afterwards, or we're going to settle down and it's marriage.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. After the afterwards of
I
college.
think it's harder in Los Angeles.
It's definitely harder in Los Angeles.
But you
Why?
met everybody met their. You know, you meet your girlfriends at the
All of us are single.
at a class at a club you join.
None of us have gotten laid.
And in college, you're only in clubs. You're only in tight knit dorm-like classes.
I mean, that's the best time to meet girls when you're just around them all the time.
Yeah, because
that's what I'm
I
saying.
mean, they have-
After
the
college.
vast
they have
majority.
no option.
I'm saying
These are your options.
I'm
These
saying
5 guys.
Los Angeles is no different than New York, Columbus, Washington, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
I
You got to
see.
put yourself out there.
No, I disagree.
no
A
different than New
major
York.
metropolitan center is going to be different, probably.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, college is not most dating happens after college. I almost would say that college is a whole different.
I'm saying it's way easier to
agree
meet
with you.
girls in college.
How far would you? How do you like? On the like career versus relationship. Like, would you? How much do you care about your career? Would you put your relationship on hold for a long time, or?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't know.
Depends when you meet
It
the right girl.
probably starts. The two start conflicting with one another in ways that you don't even realize. I mean, it's almost to me it makes a lot of sense to just totally eschew a relationship out here.
For a girl, it's a lot harder, because she's got her biological clock is ticking.
Oh boy.
Well, that's,
And that's the most controversial thing I've said.
they'll tell you that.
No, I mean, I don't know.
God damn, they
Maybe
tell
you don't.
me that.
Maybe you don't know about biology, but
that-
if a girl
what is
does,
the-
a
what
girl
is that?
can't have a kid after a certain age.
I was planning to get my hypothetical wife pregnant at
You could impregnate
60.
a girl, when you're 60. But a girl has
Nice.
and you will.
That's the plan.
it's never too late.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's.
The best day to have
This
a
is.
kid.
I mean, it's precisely because of that. I mean, that's why I would think that LA is a kind of harder market to be in.
But
But
you're you're a white male, so it must be easier.
Not in
It depends
2019.
on the girl.
No, I'm talking
Johnny?
about to get a job, to get a
I
to-
don't know, man.
The
I
two
don't know.
Johnny. I mean, we
to
got
be a
different-
white
know.
male in Los Angeles, just generally easier.
You think so?
Don't you? I mean, a lot of people of color will say white people have it easier. You disagree?
Mm,
We're just talking about dating, right?
No, I was talking about just being.
He switched
I
it to
will say-
career.
career.
There's-
career.
I know this really. I work with a guy who's this like he's young. He's 18. He's South American. He's just like this handsome, like funny guy who's just like totally got like a very like charming presence, and he's always remarking on like wanting to be a white guy. As far as like I was like, oh, you should go talk to those girls because like they totally think you're cute. And he's like, no, man, like I'm not white. Like I can't do that. I'm like, what are you talking about?
He says
totally.
that as a joke, or he's
No,
serious?
he's serious. He's serious.
What's up with that?
I don't know.
Funny
I mean,
regardless.
Because a lot of times ladies like,
That's what I
darker
was
guys.
saying.
But I get it though. I get what he's saying.
There's
There's a vibe. There's a feeling of like, damn, that girl's cute or whatever it might be. But like, she's white. I'm not. She probably won't want to talk to me.
But you would make her
Yeah.
father very angry.
It could be.
Johnny, you feel that way?
Yeah, there's definitely that feeling sometimes.
I know.
Absolutely.
I wasn't aware of it really until that innocuous thing happened, and I was like, oh wait, really? Like I found it very surprising, but I can.
It's a weird thing. When I was a kid, elementary school. So I went to a private school that my parents paid for, and I was the poorest kid in school basically. and there was a lot of white people that went to that school, and as much as like I was friends with people or whatever it was, like I never felt like I was like completely like in, because I'm not white.
I would think
You know
when
what I
you're an
mean?
adult, it'd be different though.
Well, it is a little bit, and times have changed, but there is still that sense of like if you see like a group of all white girls and you're like, that girl's really cute, I want to talk to her, but she's like, I mean, I'm not white. She probably doesn't like me.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Do you think that I mean, one, do you think that is accurate, or do you know that to be sort of a weird affect of your upbringing? And it's like, how much faith do you have in that impulse?
Well, part of it is, I think, is because I never felt like I fit in. Because like I was always like the kid that wanted to fit in, but because I didn't look like everybody else, I was like, how can I fit in?
So you think
makes
that
sense?
At this point, you're relatively confident that impulse that like, she's not going to like me because I'm not white. You think that that's accurate? Like there's like, there's a 50% chance that that's true.
50.
I mean, I'm asking you. I don't know.
No, I think it depends on the person. Like, can you get along? Absolutely. Totally probably could.
If she's blonde and blue-eyed, hell no.
Right.
Off the list.
But then again, you don't, I mean, it's weirdly, dude, it could be like the parent thing. I don't know. Like I remember years and years ago, I think it was in high school, I was talking to a girl, and I remember I was with my buddy. It was like this double date thing, and we went to her house. This is in Arizona, and her dad had a Confederate flag across the wall when we walked into their house. And we just both, my buddy isn't white either. He's Lebanese. And so we both
So
looked
he had no
like,
concept
oh,
of
God.
American history, or no, he
knew.
Lebanese
Jesus.
American.
we both looked at each other like, maybe we don't belong here. And
Because the Confederate flag represents fighting to own slaves.
There's
Yeah.
there's a kind of
Isn't that it?
An old school way of thinking.
What, am I wrong? That's what it means, right?
well, that's
That's very specific.
I got into a prolonged.
Were they fighting- what were they fighting for?
pro-slavery.
Yeah, they were.
Johnny was just saying an old school way of thinking.
Exactly.
Not
I would say.
specifically.
Well,
slavery.
I mean, obviously, it could be. I mean, it's totally associated with your run-of-the-mill actual racist, and then there are
Well, sometimes
probably like I had a roommate in college who had a Confederate flag. I was like, get that? What are you fucking doing?
I don't know if it is associated with racism.
Well, his
because it was
argument-
in the Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
the
Right,
Confederate-
right.
But
There's
that was also like in like what, the 70s or something?
And they weren't explicit racists.
But
they were
it-
just people who were proud of the
they were just
South.
rednecks.
right.
Sure.
I was the one who said what it represented, by the way, but I'm just saying, not everybody who has.
Not everyone feels it represents the same thing.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people from the South who are just like, no, it just means that like you don't, fully, you believe that states should be able to express a certain amount of like political freedom, and there's all kinds of.
They were wrong
interpretations.
about that.
Sure.
But I can see why it'd be
And there's people that think it represents like, yeah, I feel like I should still have a slave. So,
right.
and
I mean, the good old days.
I wish
Yeah,
I had a
I-
slave, not by color, but just like somebody to do stuff for
wish
me.
you had a
it's
white
called,
slave.
it's called a butler, dude.
Yeah, I wish.
Or a maid.
Yeah, but they work for free.
They work for fucking free.
Anyway, so you
Anyway.
went in this house.
Anyway, hold on. I have
No,
another- I
that
have
was
another-
it. So it was literally just a moment of like, I don't think we belong here, and I don't think that we can fit in with this whole, vibe of this girl and this family or whatever is happening. So like, we should probably be like,
You bounced?
Well, I remember we actually told I said something to the girl, and I was like, hey, like, I don't know if this is really gonna work because your dad's got this thing, and
And
it's
she
like,
said, but you're not black.
and she's like, what do you mean? I don't understand. I'm like,
Just kidding.
it's a Confederate flag, like,
Right.
you know what that stands
It's
for?
a
She's
value
like,
statement.
no, I don't understand. And I was
But
like,
it doesn't have to mean that, but often it does.
But she didn't get it, and then we basically kind of told her like, yo, your dad's probably a racist. and then she was like, really? And I was like, I mean, I don't know, it kind of
Surprise.
seems like it. He's got guns, and I mean,
Well,
typical Arizona. But I was like,
Dude, guns don't mean you're racist.
Your family has guns.
But it was like,
You have a gun.
no, I'm the only one that has one. But the thing is that like it was a weird like moment, and then
Where do you
she
keep it,
she
John?
started crying, and I was like, okay, this is getting weird now.
Very weird.
Because but she was crying because she's like, I just realized my dad's a racist.
Well, I feel
And
like
also-
Tears of like, Dad, my dad's a racist.
there's a lot of questions unanswered with. I mean, she doesn't know her dad's a racist.
No, but it was definitely like a moment of like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know that's what it meant, and it was like this weird,
Wow, that sounds super weird.
Sometimes it takes
awkward, man.
it will sometimes take the most affected party to illustrate to the least affected like what that means. So it's like if you're,
But
suddenly you learn that you've been really hurting somebody's feelings. It's like, oh, okay.
but in Los Angeles today,
You can fly a Confederate flag wherever you want.
No, there's so much of that vibe
fact, it's
going on.
encouraged.
You can't give your opinion unless your opinion is, towing the line, the social justice warrior. It's sometimes hard to give your opinion.
That is true. And you don't want to make anybody cry.
You can't even have a nuanced opinion sometimes. It's like it's either
Unless you're Dave Chappelle.
you're 100% or no.
Dave Chappelle.
Well, Dave Chappelle has this enormous buy-in power because one, he's like this adored celebrity. He has this crazy cool comeback story.
He walked away from the money.
He walked away from the money. He kept working in this like tiny way that just like fulfilled him.
Just like pop-up comedy shows
Spiritually.
in the park.
Family Guy, and he's black, and he's
Cool
fucking
and funny.
I don't know if just take that same set and give it to another comic.
Won't work.
Doesn't work
No.
because we just don't have that buy-in.
He's one of the best comedians ever.
Yeah,
He's so
For
good.
sure.
and he has a long history. He has an earned sort of license. I think
He has
to
like
say
a
that.
.07 on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics on his last special.
I mean,
Of
that's
course they would.
For the 6 critics.
and
they
that's
let in.
understood to be like deliberately manipulated, right? There's only
Right.
like 6 people, 6 critics.
So, like,
rating
what
it,
about
right?
you guys? Do you guys feel like there's stuff that you can't say?
Absolutely.
The N-word, I don't think I
No.
can say.
Everything.
I mean, I think I can say whatever.
Oh yeah, Nagger. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
South
But
Park
I,
was so close it sent chills down my spine.
He knows.
but I do feel that if you're like on set and you're maybe in the makeup chair,
You want to start whipping out slurs? Probably not a good.
no, and you can't
Please, dude.
you can't even say the words like, "Hey, but Trump has done some good stuff." Like,
Right.
you can't say
well,
that.
Well, for both sides, people think either Trump is great, does nothing wrong, doesn't lie, or people think that Trump is the worst, evil, doesn't do anything right.
I love saying that shit.
I think you
I
could
love-
probably
I
get
love
away
making
with
people
it.
feel
You can get
uncomfortable.
away with it.
I love being like someone's saying something. I'd be like, you know what? Honestly, I voted for Trump, and I think he's a fantastic president. He's doing really good things, and the economy wouldn't be the way it is without him.
Well, this is going to be my
I like doing stuff
second
like that,
question
too.
to you, which was, do you think now that you're maybe older and like, you're more experienced and you're in the acting game a little more and there's different casting requirements, do you feel like your ethnicity has benefited you in ways that,
Now it is.
yeah.
Now there's more.
We came at the wrong time, dude. We have 60 years to
Every-
get
You
here.
guys should have came in 15 years ago, man.
Every
The Friends era?
representative
The
I've
Friends,
talked to
dude?
is like, you're in a saturated market. Like,
Wait,
you-
agent.
Yes, agent. Like agent, manager. I mean, whoever it may
Saturated
be.
market, isn't it? Not it's saturated.
Well, white dude. There's so many white dudes in their mid-20s that are semi-good looking. That is true.
if you're a
And the older you get, the less.
if you're a female though, if you're a person of color and a female, I think that's the sweet spot.
Probably.
Yeah,
You gotta- if you're a biracial girl that's young, you're in.
but if you look on TV, the majority roles are white still, on 3, 5, and 8.
All the sitcoms.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever,
There's still opportunity for you guys. You got like 4 options.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I don't. Yeah, I don't have the sense that
What's an yeah?
there's any real, like, at the end of the day, it's gonna just, you're gonna have to be good either way, right? It's like, and you're gonna sort of like have your materials in order and sort of get into a type of like a flow that works for you.
So what do you do? What do you do to get in that flow? Besides sitting.
Well, if I had done that, I wouldn't be here.
Well, you went to our podcast.
You listen to Eminem.
You went
Yes,
to our
you better
podcast
lose
if you made
yourself.
it big.
I did.
Dude, what do you do besides sit on your ass? No, not you, but like
And
what
audition.
What do people do besides that? Listen, you have a certain amount of time. You have a survival job. You can audition every once in a while. Besides that, what can you do?
I'm on Reddit.
World of Warcraft Classic came out a
you
couple
do-
weeks ago.
I like
do that?
StarCraft. I like StarCraft better. Anybody?
No, but that's a good question. In Los Angeles, for the people in the middle of the country right now, what are you doing? You're not auditioning at your day job, whatever, not doing a podcast.
To further your career, how do you think outside the box? What do you do?
Jiu-Jitsu.
You still
Really?
do that?
No, I haven't done it in a while, but
you do it. You do
but
it.
it is a good like
When you pony up to $25,
when I
you do it.
when I pony up. Yes, it's. I think. I mean, any. This is what I'm fucking saying. It's like the psychological maintenance. That's what you need to do. You need to just do whatever it is that positions you to walk into an auditioning room, feeling like I'm good, like everything's cool.
Meditation,
It's
yoga.
almost impossible for me to meditate.
I love yoga, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, you seem like a yoga guy. Why don't you touch your toes for us, buddy?
Okay.
Go fuck yourself, dude.
You don't even understand what yoga is if that's.
But wait,
if that's the kind of if that's, I'm not knocking yoga, but if that's what puts you in the space where you're just like,
if that's what gets you off, you know.
yeah, if that's what
Wait, I
makes
agree with
you
that
pumped.
because you have so much free time in between the auditions or lack thereof. You need something.
And that could be working another job. I mean, if that's like,
But you do that because you have to. Like in the free time that you
Well, you
can
work.
choose.
Well, you work
Depends.
one job because you have to, and then maybe you have even another job that you're like, well, maybe I got this thing too. Multiple streams of income. Robert Kiyosaki's.
Yeah.
Whatever,
The
that book.
quadrant,
See the-
cash flow quadrant. Are you self-employed or
Next-
you're actually
okay,
Hey man, that shit's true.
nerd.
So
No.
That sounds great.
So you do jujitsu. That's your thing.
No, I mean, I do a lot. I like to go. I go on drives. I like to just like, boom, like go into like the mountains.
$3.50 a gallon, no big deal.
Yeah, that is.
I was about to say
You've
it's-
never
it
invited
could be
one of us.
expensive.
Well,
I don't
so
wanna
you,
talk
so
to
you go to
It's
like
my
the
private time.
Angeles National Forest, like those mountain
Just
ranges.
go on a,
I've
like,
been there before.
Little walk, little hike, find some new trails.
But is that where you go, the Angeles National Forest?
That sometimes. Yes.
That's no
went-
light pollution.
I went up the Pacific Coast Highway.
Loser.
It's beautiful, and it's you really get a sense.
So fucking LA right there.
Dude, nobody's there at night. He's there in the day.
There's.
Wait, you're not there at night?
I have driven
He's leaving at
down
night.
there, and I'm not camping. I'm not a big camper, but I will go.
Okay.
Are we planning a camping trip? Is that what we're planning here?
You guys can't. Let me be clear. You can't come on a drive with me.
All right.
Wouldn't it be more fun with a buddy though? It's like
Nah.
not for you.
Depends on the buddy.
I think it'd be grading the conversation.
I
that
actually,
Johnny would have.
I went up the Pacific Coast Highway, right, Route 1 or whatever. I don't know.
PCH.
PCH.
For you guys out there.
That's a nice little ride.
Google it.
Have you guys done that?
Yeah.
How far up did you go?
Not that far.
Not that's probably as far as you probably
I
think.
don't think I've done
Yeah,
it.
Just
like
through Malibu.
A
through
couple
Malibu up
exactly.
there.
Just to do it.
Malibu's cool, and then you start getting into like north of there and kind of in Oxnard, a little past.
I've been in Oxnard before. Yeah.
It's weird.
Ojai?
It gets a little weird.
It's a
out
nice
there.
view though.
Some of it.
Driving by the water.
Getting those
I mean,
farms.
Oxnard is.
Oxnard's fine.
Guys, we have a very limited amount of time on this. What else do we want to talk about?
Did
What?
you have more talking points?
I was go ahead.
You have a talking point?
No, I was gonna say, okay, this is surviving Hollywood. So if you want, let's just talk about what are you guys doing here to survive? Besides acting,
Pass. No,
What are you
okay,
doing
we can
then?
talk
Pass.
about
No.
I
Working.
mean,
it. Or give us an example. What do you like? What do
you
you
guys
do you
know
got-
I'm a bartender.
well, we don't.
got
The audience doesn't know that.
No, okay. Well, the audience knows because it's my mom and my dad, and
Okay.
you know, a bartender. Have the crypto YouTube channel.
Oh, you have a crypto YouTube channel?
Yeah, you guys.
How
know.
can you never plug that?
Please relax, relax, guys.
It's called Altcoin Daily. We would prefer to talk about the guests when we have here, but
Listen,
No,
I'm acutely aware nobody wants to talk about cryptocurrency. I get that.
I think that's actually the most one of the most beneficial things anybody could possibly do out here. Like
Invest in Bitcoin.
Fuck no, but have a kind of tangentially related gig which earns you money,
And
which
that you're
is
passionate about.
creative, you're passionate about, that's in the kind of like social media space, the content creation
It's like
space.
a hobby you can monetize. That's what I like about it.
Yeah, totally. That's good.
And it's like eventually you guys start making.
Well, not if it goes to zero.
which it almost certainly will.
Dude, I hope it does. I'll buy some.
yeah, but why don't you, Johnny? Aaron and I
Johnny prefers to buy high.
Encourage you.
I know, right?
You have a very dark sense of humor. You could go and talk about that stuff on YouTube and over a
about
couple
what
of
stuff?
years develop a following. Your dark 4chan-esque thoughts.
Let's see how this podcast
You
goes.
could do red pill stuff on YouTube.
I'm not red pill.
I don't
I'm
think
not.
he is. I think that's a
But he
misdefinition.
could talk about it though. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's
I
who he is.
understand what it is. Okay.
But that's not you. But you know, something.
All right, so what do you guys do? I told you what I did. Johnny?
I work, I go outside. I mean, actually, I mean, speaking of relationships, it's like, I think that pursuing relationships can sometimes be kind of a relief too. I mean, trying to meet people.
A physical relief?
If you're lucky.
So you survive Hollywood. You have your survival job. You, what else do you do, man?
Hang out.
Well, this, I think rephrase it. It's like everybody knows you have a survival job, but looking back before you moved here, what's one thing you wish you would have like started earlier?
Okay.
Good question.
That's a very good question. And I haven't even started doing this yet, really, even though I know that I should. Is if you're just coming out here, like you're thinking about it, my strong piece of advice is start writing, probably.
I'd say putting yourself on camera and writing, like combine it.
The more you do, the better. But especially if you have if you come out to LA and you have either a practice, meaning like a behavior that you just repeat, and it's like that's writing. It's like every day I do a little bit of writing.
Every day at
That's
6
great.
a.m.
Or if you have a particular script that you can kind of present along with the rest of your job talents. It's like it's much stronger to come into LA, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, as an actor, writer, and maybe director, and like have something that is always kind of in progress. I think that's one of the.
Well,
I wish I had.
I agree.
More
just
skills.
in the terms of being an actor, like when you're not getting those auditions, then you're writing your own thing, and that's how you're meeting new people. That's how you're developing your network because you have came in with that material.
Right. I think
So in that sense, I agree. I
the
definitely
network
agree.
will follow. Like if you have content, if you have a strong thing that you want to produce, it's like maybe not. Like maybe you need to have the network before you can really make anything, and that's definitely.
But
true
you
to
make a
some
small
degree.
thing, develop a network, make a slightly bigger thing.
Right. And you guys have experienced this yourself to some degree with your various projects.
Are you writing something right now?
up here?
Well, here's the thing. Tom Cruise.
Put it on paper, dude.
Pitch us. Pitch us.
Let's hear your. I want to hear the
No,
pitch.
I don't. I'm not writing anything that I would.
Hey, not
dare
Hey,
pitch.
not
if
a
I
request,
Did, and if
buddy.
I did have something,
It's not a
I
effing
wouldn't
request.
reveal it
Say it
to
now.
anybody.
Say it now.
until
Is that
it's
the
all ready
pitch?
to go.
Is this the pitch?
Well, Tom Cruise, like you don't
tempted?
have to necessarily write, but like some people just a lot of a lot of people say that
Also, get a motorcycle. That's another thing.
yeah, exactly.
To survive.
A lot of people say like, oh, you need to read a bunch of scripts if you want to be an actor, and that's just it's really saying you need to get some influences because you have no idea what's good, and if you don't read what's good, you're not going to know. But like Tom Cruise watches movies and stuff to know what's good, and he watches a movie every day. You watch a lot of movies?
I don't watch that many movies. I like the things that I like a lot, and I feel like a lot of what
He watches this
I'll rewatch things.
exactly the
a
same
lot.
ones over again.
Me too, man. I love watching a good movie again.
I'm gonna get a beer. You guys want a beer?
Grab me one. I just saw Barry Lyndon. Have you guys seen that movie?
Dude, I see so many movies, but none of them ones that you see.
No, this is a movie. If you guys remember from Ryan's class, he would always talk about this movie. Stanley Kubrick,
Screen Actor System.
Barry Lyndon, and he would always talk about like how
take a beer.
cinematic
I'll take a beer.
the minimal movement of each character in the film. He's like, that is supreme film acting. I just saw it yesterday.
Who's in it?
I don't think anybody notable, but it's a Kubrick film,
Okay.
old film. I watched it yesterday. It's like a 3-hour movie.
My God.
I mean, all his movies are long, but man, really slow burn.
Yeah.
Really slow burn. Have you guys seen it? Anybody seen it?
I have not.
I didn't even know it was a Kubrick.
Shamefully, I have not.
No, I haven't.
And I really like Kubrick a lot, but it's a good movie. Like the acting is good. Like it's a really good film, but it's hard to like want to watch again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just like,
Kubrick's best film is what? 2001: Space Odyssey, or is
What a lot of people say.
probably.
that the best one?
But I like Clockwork Orange. I like
Shining.
I like Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, The Shining. Yeah.
Eyes Wide
The
Shut. Now,
Shining is
Eyes
good.
Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut. To me, is a very bizarre movie.
I really like that movie a lot.
That's weird.
I do.
It's so.
Tom Cruise, man, Nicole Kidman.
But they're not. It's weird. Like they're
that's
very
what- but that's-
incongruent. Like I feel like they're acting. It's like
But that's why I liked
this
it.
way.
It was so like weird.
yeah, it's very.
It was just like this weird dude like running through New York or whatever, and just this weird sex club.
You're aware of the treadmill that he was on.
Wait, the treadmill.
I forget.
So
I don't know about this.
Multiple scenes, or maybe just one scene, I guess, where Tom Cruise is walking through the streets of
Multiple
New York
or
City.
one?
It's I don't want to get called out. It could be anything. It could be a whole movie. But he's walking through New York City, and instead of shooting it on location, they shot it on this big, like, moving, green screen kind of thing.
I didn't know that.
But it's sort of theorized that this was meant to produce kind of an air of surreality to the whole scene. It's like they didn't want him actually walking there. Now, of course, with Kubrick, like, conspiracy theories abound, and you'll have just as many people being like, no, it was just a budget issue. They just didn't want to, like, shoot on location. There were all these sort of, like, real concerns. But I could totally buy that, like, because when you watch the whole movie, it is so strange. It's like, oh yeah, maybe this was a sort of an aesthetic choice.
I mean, I would
Keep things weird.
I could believe it. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot, though.
Yeah.
I don't know, something about that movie just like it made sense to me.
You know, a movie I did see recently that no one I know has ever seen is Ridley Scott's one of his first, if not his first movie, called The Duelist with Harvey Keitel.
You and I did a scene from
I
there.
haven't seen it.
That's right.
Yeah.
We did do a scene. Yeah.
Do it right now.
Let's see it.
Well, you did great at that scene because you could do the heightened language. I remember that was the hardest part, struggling to say the vowels.
Was Shakespeare?
I got that Shakespeare
No,
background.
but it's
baby.
like Game of Thrones where everything's so heightened. Like
yes,
old school English.
It's old school English to some degree, yeah.
Ye old English.
It's very good. Real solid. It's
So you love Barry Lyndon, dude.
maybe. Is there fighting in?
There is
In Barry
some
Lyndon?
dueling.
Because it's like, that's what the
It's
entire
a lot
movie's
of
about.
like dudes standing there with two guns holding each other. Now fire, and they both shoot.
It sounds very stylized.
Who's your favorite director?
Or a favorite.
Talk about getting in trouble, but
Trouble.
Roman Polanski.
Really? What do you like
Really?
besides the one horror? What's that called?
Carnage.
No.
Did you see Carnage?
What do you like
I didn't
besides
see
Rosemary's
Carnage.
Baby. Besides
Rosemary's Baby, his version of Macbeth is like the most watchable.
Which one is that?
cool- It's a
Who's
he
in
did
it?
Macbeth.
Who's in it?
I can't remember a
I
single.
haven't seen
actor's name,
anything
but it's,
besides Rosemary's Baby.
Ghostwriter.
Well, what do you think about his
Nicolas Cage?
relationship with young girls?
Ill- ill-advised and totally illegal and
Oh, you think it's legal?
illegal.
Well, you,
so.
Quentin, well,
Hope so.
you like Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino said on Howard Stern that those 13-year-old party girls.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Is that the end of the quote?
That's right. What
Where's the rest of the quote?
Well, you can look
He's
it up.
like,
You gave the first part of the quote.
I gave you the most pertinent part of the
Stern
quote.
is like,
They
tell
are
us about
off
those
limits.
parties. Yeah, you know about
That
those
could end in a
13-year-old
lot of
party
ways.
girls?
how
they exist?
Shock jock Howard Stern said, "This is too much for me, man. I don't think this is right." And Quentin Tarantino said, "No, man, she wanted it. You know those 13-year-old party girls. You can look it up online."
I've seen it, but it's a full clip. And
Okay, yeah, let me quote all 15 minutes of it.
You know about those 13-year-old
Just
party
what it is.
girls? I never go near them. 'Cause that's
right, they
crazy.
could have
That's
ended
what
that
he
way.
was trying to say.
well,
Well, you've had sex with an underage girl.
well, tell us about that.
Oh God,
Okay.
Did it bring your youth back?
That was
this is not going on the pod.
yeah. Let's.
Well, we're
let's-
just kidding. You
let's-
haven't.
You haven't?
It's obviously a joke.
Obviously.
We're not cutting anything
Yeah,
out.
I don't know why you guys are acting weird about it if it's a joke.
Well, when you were underage too.
Right. Back when I was a 10-year-old. My 9-year-old girlfriend.
My God.
9-year-old.
Are we still doing a
girlfriend.
bit? I don't.
All right, let's
Let's bring it back to surviving.
I think everybody just
Hollywood.
got engaged out there in podcast land.
We lost the audience.
We lost them.
We gained them.
45 minutes ago.
Everybody, let's sit in silence.
This was that awkward silence we were worried about, huh,
There's
guys?
no awkward sounds. We've had strong conversation the whole way through.
And when somebody wants to throw out a topic
Listen,
about surviving Hollywood,
We've all tried to sound smart for the first 30 minutes, and now it's kind of.
Do we need to refine this?
What's your favorite movie, dude?
favorite movie?
Movie that made an impact
The
on
Duelist.
Dude, I have so many, but you go.
I have a lot of movies that I really
Just ones that you're like, this is so good. If I could make a movie like this, oh my God. Whether it's comedy, drama, it doesn't matter. This movie's
Chinatown, Master and Commander.
you. Good movie.
Master and Commander? Really?
yes.
This is Russell Crowe, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Russell
Man,
Crowe.
it's kind of like a historical movie. It kind of seems like it.
Very period.
It's just
dude.
Yeah,
all
it's
like
it's such a period piece.
Yeah.
but it's also just like super like actiony and just like
I would've said
cool relationships and like
I would have said Animal
romance.
House. Animal House.
That's a good movie. Good movie.
It's a comedy that stands the test of time because they play it straight and it's so good.
I like, and you know, this is a random favorite, not my all-time favorite, but a movie I wish I could have been in. Take Me Home Tonight. Do you guys know it?
That's like a more recent film.
Yeah.
I don't even think Justin Long remembers.
No, he's not in that.
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace, exactly.
They shot that in Arizona.
Okay, I wish I would have been in
I
it.
think I did a scene from that with
Yeah, with Michaela.
Oh, dude, you did a couple of
I think
scenes
you just
from
like
that.
the song.
that seemed like a good movie.
They actually never play that
You-
song in the movie.
dude,
Really?
Only the trailer. The trailer.
Michaela, really good actress. I felt like you guys really had something.
You guys had a connection there, huh?
We did what we did.
Now, what was that
I
like?
have that chemistry with everybody.
What was that like rehearsing with Michaela?
It was a breeze.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because you guys had a lot of chemistry.
You think so?
I know so, dude. Everybody said it.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you go to her birthday? I know
It was
you
easy.
went.
I
Her
was
last
I was
birthday.
there.
Her last
I was
birthday.
not there.
I was not.
Well,
there.
her first birthday.
I was at her first birthday.
How was
Oh,
that?
you were there? Yeah.
That was a good time.
How did it go?
I barely remember.
Did you guys talk? Did you guys?
talked a little bit? I talked to everybody.
You said happy birthday.
You know,
How was
I
her,
drank a lot.
How was her second birthday though?
I was great. Little pool party. I had some
Guys, are all-
vegan cake.
Our audience doesn't know Michaela.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
friend of ours.
Let's skip
The
that.
conversation was
Let's skip that
vibing
part.
until you brought that up.
Well, I'm trying to retain the audience.
Anyway.
Everybody knows Michaela.
Anyway.
Listen,
So yeah.
if you're listening at home for the next 20, 30 minutes, we're just going to have fun and just chit-chat it up. But
Yeah, so you can tune out, but just know that if you guys want to just stay for the hangout, feel free.
it's about to get real.
I thought it's been real.
I
since
feel
we
like
got
it's
here.
been real the entire time.
been real.
How many-
I kind of felt like in the first, it was good. I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it kind of felt like we were trying to,
Well, that's every podcast.
say something. Now it's going to get
Well,
like just
we-
normal, real. Dude, when I hang out with this guy, this guy's always got a hot take. Like Tarantino movies. You were telling me, like I said, you asked me once, what is the best Tarantino movies? Of course, because I love Tarantino. Of course, I said Pulp Fiction. I said Inglourious Bastards. Like, I wasn't really sure though. I kind of put Django up there too. But you had a hot take on Django. I remember.
Didn't like it very much.
Now
Really?
that's crazy, right?
I loved it.
Django's one of his best movies.
I don't know why you feel that way.
Really?
Okay.
So funny.
I think Tarantino is like one of these is a super competent director who I don't know. I feel like every time one of his movies sort of comes out, I'm like, yeah, I pretty much just know what this is going to be. It's going to be fine. It's going to be good. It's not going to be
Gonna be
particularly-
fine.
But what was it about
Challenging.
Django that
Serviceable.
it was? Well, you didn't like the lead. Not that you didn't like him, but you didn't think he did.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx is like one of my favorite actors, but in Django, I just felt like he was, I don't know, kind of fell flat. Didn't quite get
because he
that.
kind of said on Howard Stern that one time, right?
Well, he did have an interesting interview where he was
He
just
kind of
like,
let it slip on Howard Stern that he was like, "Oh, this is what I avoided," but it did kind of seem, even me who loved the movie, kind of think like, "Oh, he did do that."
What did he do?
What?
yeah, I know, I would.
Okay, it was on Howard Stern. He gives the interview, Jamie
Oh,
Foxx,
yeah.
where he goes, "When I first came on the set, I was acting all cool. I was saying my lines, ba-ba-da-ba-ja." And then Quentin Tarantino called me aside, different room. He goes, "Listen, this guy is a slave. This guy isn't cool. This guy is a slave." And then later in the movie, he becomes cool. And then Jamie Foxx said, and then
He's like, this guy can't read.
Oh yeah, Quentin Tarantino. He's a slave. He can't read. Doesn't come in a Range Rover or a Gucci bag. That was the thing. But he was basically telling Jamie, this guy's not cool. Stop playing him so cool. But Johnny Day said, if you watch the movie, and I actually kind of agree with this, that
Well,
Jamie Foxx.
If he's a slave, why would he be that cool?
Well, exactly.
That makes sense.
That was Quentin Tarantino gave a great note, but I agree with Johnny that if you watch the movie again, it kind of seems like Jamie Foxx is playing it cool. Like he has a way he's saying the lines.
Well, yeah, that's a definite.
Oh, so you're saying Quentin was right.
Quentin was right, and Jamie Foxx didn't take the note as well as he could have.
Okay, cool.
But I think.
But that was a major turnoff.
But I think part of it though too is that like, as an audience, we are aware that this is a Tarantino world,
Right.
and so this is a world that doesn't exist necessarily.
But that's not part of it. That's
Th-
not part
this
of the
is-
Tarantino
I mean-
world.
Right, but it's just like it's his own thing. Like things happen like in his own special world where it's like different.
I think that with the Tarantino worlds, there needs to be a certain amount of like resistance between the overall like aesthetic
I
and
think
things that happen.
It was a flaw of Jamie's, not Tarantino's.
well,
Isn't
they're one and the same.
Isn't
to
that a
some degree.
discussion you have before you make the movie?
Listen, yeah, well,
They wanted Will Smith.
Yeah,
Like
Quentin
why is Inglourious Bastards better to me? I'm not sure. I'm
so many things.
Inglourious Bastards is like one of his.
Well, there's-
I think is my
First
favorite
of all,
film.
right off the
done.
top, that tension-building scene with the Jewish people underneath the floorboards and they're drinking the milk.
Yeah.
And they have first of all, super engaging bad guy. It's just so many things are good with that movie.
The characters are really vulnerable too.
Is that it?
I think that's a huge part of it. The tension comes from like you have this like you just have characters that you think might get really messed up.
Well, Brad Pitt's not vulnerable. The
bear Jew?
Yeah, the Jew hunter is not.
Well, he dies. They get slaughtered. I mean,
no, it's
Brad-
not.
they blow them like they get
Yeah,
blown
they
up.
blow themselves up. But the best scene in that whole movie though is the tavern scene.
Right,
When
which
they're
is
in the
full of
scene
people
and,
that
dude,
get
the tension
killed.
with Fassbender.
Yeah.
I don't even think
You-
that's a
you-
great
Dude,
scene.
that's
It's not the best scene.
Dude,
even.
I think that's the best scene in the whole movie.
Was
The
there-
most memorable scene in the whole movie for me is that scene.
No, it's
I
a very.
agree.
it's-
Where
it's-
he's like he orders the beer and he orders it wrong and he's like you're not German.
It's the first scene where he's drinking the milk and you're introduced to the Jew hunter. That's such a memorable scene. But then also the last scene where Brad Pitt, after they made the deal, and he's gonna Christopher Waltz is gonna go back and live a nice life in Rhode Island. He says, "I bet you're gonna go home and you're gonna go to America and take that Nazi uniform off." And he goes, "Yeah, I will." And he goes, "That's what I thought." And he carves out the swastika, even though they gave him whatever piece or whatever.
deal.
And they gave him the deal. He carves off the swastika. Then you see Brad Pitt and DJ Novak looking down at him. You're looking up at BJ Novak and Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt goes, "I think this might be my greatest work yet." Cut to title card, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. That's Quentin Tarantino speaking
Saying
directly to
that
the
is his best work ever.
And
I get it. I'm still going with the tavern scene because that's the first scene I ever saw.
that's just fucking real.
Fassbender in.
Yeah.
And dude, I was like, this guy's so good. And the tension in that scene was so high.
I know.
I was like, what's gonna happen? And all of a sudden everyone gets killed.
Incredible.
Dude, best scene ever.
I name a scene in Django that's like that. It's just not. It's just not there in the same way.
Name a good scene in Django. How about that?
Leo hurting his hand.
Leonardo DiCaprio, that was a great scene. The scene with Samuel L. Jackson. Every scene with Samuel L. Jackson
He's hilarious.
in Django is so good.
Hilarious.
He's
He's
the
so
smartest
funny.
character there. My favorite scene is when he calls Candy to the room and he's like, "Hey, they're here for that girl," and Candy can't believe it. What? No, they're here to do the thing.
Who's Candy?
Leonardo
Candy's
DiCaprio.
Leo, yeah.
Okay, I forget.
He goes, "They ain't here to buy no mandingo.
This is the reveal that
They're
he's
here
actually
for that
like,
girl." And he's like, "What? No, they're here to buy the slave from me. They're here for Hildy." And it's like Samuel L. Jackson, just the character that Samuel L. Jackson and Tarantino created for whatever his name is.
Keep it
So
funny.
good.
Keep it funny.
Yeah, it's so good.
The best part is when Leo gets shot and then they cut to a reaction of Sam Jackson's like, "No!"
Dude, but that's
the best shot.
another thing of Tarantino speaking directly to the audience. When the whole thing, almost the whole movie, isn't like a typical Tarantino movie because there's no extreme violence. But then as soon as the extreme violence starts, the thing that leads up to it,
There was a lot of violence in the movie though.
but not until there was
More than his more
well,
recent
no,
movies.
there was specific violence when it comes to the dogs tearing apart the slaves and all that, and the Mandingo fighting. There was very specific things, but not the usual kind of bloody thing that a Tarantino is.
There are a lot of shootings.
Well, let me make my point. Point
proceed.
is my point is this. Can't remember, dude.
Dude,
That,
all that build up for
no,
for
okay.
damn nothing.
That at the very end, what's it? Christopher Waltz's name?
I don't remember.
Schultz.
Okay.
Schultz. Shaking the hand bit. A lot of tension. Will they
Right.
shake each other's
And then
hand?
he shoots him.
And he shoots him. And then he turns to the camera, almost the camera, and he goes, "Sorry, I couldn't resist." And that's when the violence breaks out. That's Tarantino speaking to the audience, saying, "Sorry, I couldn't resist making a movie without violence."
This is Aaron at Starbucks in his daily life in Los Angeles. Tarantino's speaking to me. He's always speaking to me.
I don't know. I think that kind of like that's something that either is cute and fun, but it doesn't really mean that much.
Django is a great movie, just not as good as Inglourious Basterds. I'll agree with you.
Okay. What else? Do we
Austin,
like?
how do you feel? Haven't heard from you at all.
Anybody seen Jackie Brown?
Well, it's been so
Yeah,
long
I've
since
seen
I've
Jackie
seen
Brown.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen
I
all
liked
his
it.
movies.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is a way better walking around movie, I feel,
Than
than
Jackie Brown? Really?
They're both great, but I would see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood many more times.
Really?
Jackie Brown,
I like them both, but I think
both
they're
good.
different.
My least favorite movie, Hateful Eight.
yeah, too
That was
long.
my least favorite movie he made.
Too
I feel it.
indulgent.
Yeah.
Dude, there's the extended version on Netflix. It's like, goddamn, the first version was extended enough.
Yeah. Did nothing happen till the end.
I didn't. The only part I remember is
It was still
is that
yeah.
flashback to the scene in the snow where he's like, "Yo, suck on my like your boy."
I don't even remember that one.
I just
I don't
remember,
remember
you
that.
know, I just remember it was so obvious that people were gonna come like. I just remember
They were all in on it. Was the spoiler?
right.
So is that what you're saying? That was obvious that everybody in the
No,
room
it was
is
so
in on it.
obvious. Channing Tatum gets an opening title card at the beginning of the movie. We haven't seen him the whole movie. Oh, he's gonna pop up and save everybody in the end.
Can you imagine
Did he save everybody?
He was in the floorboards.
being
or something.
Kurt Russell destroying that guitar?
Kurt's the man.
I mean, he's
He
in all his
destroyed
movies
it.
basically. He
Real-
was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He was in Death Proof.
No, but
Death-
John,
I think Death Proof is actually one of Tarantino's.
I've
like,
never seen it. It looked
best
kind of
movies
you ever
cheesy.
seen Grindhouse? Grindhouse.
I haven't seen
It's
Death
the-
Proof.
Oh, I'm not gay.
Death Proof and Planet Terror are part of the Grindhouse.
Yes.
Combo.
very
the
different.
trailer for Grindhouse, or I'm sorry, Death Proof looks kind of like
Is that in
cheesy and like
The first time I saw Death Proof, I was like, I don't really like it. But then I saw it like years later.
Who's in it?
I was like, Kurt Russell.
but it's a specific like type
It was
of
that
movie.
But it's actually, I'm like, oh, this is actually really good.
Yeah, I think it's great.
But I liked Planet Terror better. But then,
Really?
Yeah, I used to like that better because I'm like, oh, you get to see like Tarantino's dick melting off, and I was like, this is a weird thing. No, really.
Oh, I'd see that.
well, didn't who directed that? That was a guy from. That wasn't Tarantino.
that was Robert Rodriguez.
Hey, let me,
Rodriguez,
what
yeah.
message was Tarantino giving the audience when his dick got melted off?
I didn't see it, but I'm sure there was one.
It was good. Bruce Willis was in it. It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun movie.
That's one when the girl puts a M16 on her leg stump.
Yes,
right?
that's
Yeah.
true.
My God.
Death Proof, fun, man. Good movie.
I feel like Death Proof was just like so tight and clean, and Kurt Russell is just like
He's good in that.
so
dude.
good, and
He's-
that whole
Could I?
He's really good in that.
I had a question for Johnny actually that I'm glad I remembered because I don't know if you guys, if I can change the subject real quick.
Change it, please.
That Johnny, he's always been our friend, but for months and months, and I'm not even sure how many episodes he's listened to of this podcast.
None.
But whenever he hung out with Austin and I, he'd always like make fun of he's like, oh, you guys probably aren't being real. It's probably like, oh, how'd you, I can't remember. You always made fun of us. What are your compared to your expectations of what this podcast is, or if you have any critiques at all about our
I would
format?
love critiques.
You want some critiques?
Critiques slash how you're.
Give us the.
Why don't you
nitty-gritty.
listen more? What would make you listen?
Why don't you subscribe, dude?
But also what your expectations versus reality.
Johnny finally turns it on.
well.
Why don't you rate and review, dude?
I think that
Be real.
Ouch, dude.
what I don't know if I have any like real issues. I think
Well,
that's
you
a
were
little bit,
vocal
okay,
off mic.
here's my first take. Surviving Hollywood, like that, like when you have people on that are talking about it's like you seem to have sort of a real direction that you want the podcast to move in to some degree, and like sometimes just like my inclination.
Of us? Is that we don't normally talk in that direction? I mean,
Well, no, it's like what am I trying to say here?
he was sure vocal when he wasn't on the podcast.
Sure was.
My main criticism is you need a new background because this wall is just it ain't looking.
Well,
That's
that's
not
kind of a
your
lame
main-
cop-out
That's not
answer.
your main criticism.
Cop out answer.
Your main criticism was that I feel initially.
Well, you've been willing.
you
I
have
mean,
to say
we've
it?
let this conversation go like pretty in whatever the directions like it's gone in. I mean,
Today.
It hasn't yet today. I'm not sure what your other episodes are like. I don't know how much you rein things in.
why would
It's-
you,
it's
why would
been
you
like-
watch? What would make you watch?
Why would he listen to one?
What would make me watch?
Yeah, to help us. We want a critique from an LA local.
Look, we're just trying to get you to subscribe right now.
You're our
right now.
I'll subscribe. Okay, all right.
You are the demographic.
Your
Like,
initial critique is I don't think you guys are being your real.
You think it's fake?
Edgy selves. In that I just think, what do you do for what was your first job? That was always your kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you're sugarcoating it. You're
Yeah, I think
Give us the real, real.
Probably, yeah.
All right.
Has today's interview been sugar-coated?
No, not as much as I thought. Not as much as I thought. So maybe I'll just have to check it out.
If there's something we could go further on, I'd love to talk about that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anything.
What podcast?
Sorry.
What podcast do you listen to?
The only podcasts I listen to are like Sam Harris,
Joe Rogan.
I love Sam
sometimes
Harris.
Joe Rogan,
But he's
depending
just
on the guest.
political and like.
Right. This is what interests me. In a way, like, here's what I actually kind of
So
think.
what?
I just listened
all right,
to the
here we
Sam
go. Here we
Harris
go. Here we
David
go.
Beckham.
Here we go. Here we go.
Hearing people talk about their success in Hollywood, what they do, what they like,
It's more like the grind.
the grind, whatever. I don't really give a shit. It's like
Clearly.
I'm just gonna do what I do, and that's it.
But you could learn from other people.
Why have influences?
I guess.
Why find out what works and disworks? Why choose to learn vicariously through somebody else when this guy can make all the mistakes himself?
That's just what it'll be. I mean, we're all gonna make a bunch of mistakes, and like we'll take some cues, and like I don't know. It's like to me, it's like I don't really want to hear about this because I'm just doing my own fucking thing. Like that's all.
Well, I kind of get that because like there is no clear-cut path to being successful in this industry. So I mean, in a weird way,
the things that interest me,
I could kind of get behind that because I kind of see that.
Nobody's claiming we got a clear-cut path. We're just hearing people's stories.
Sure.
These are not. It's like I'm interested in stories.
Well, I think acting doesn't really interest Johnny because this
also,
podcast doesn't really.
The proximity to my own things actually does make me a little bit antsy. It's like I do this. I'm kind of doing this. I almost just like I want to just my listening experiences when I like watch a podcast, listen to it. It's like I don't know if I'm gonna like double down on things that I already do. I just want to hear other things.
You want some relief from what you do all day.
I understand.
Yes.
I like them both. Sometimes I love listening to actors and directors and comedians talk about how they came up in their stories, but sometimes I like the Sam Harris's, the other things that don't have anything to do with what I do day to day.
Right. And I think that this is I know it's useful. It's totally useful for people to have.
Okay,
you're not
don't
using it.
placate us.
Listen,
And
guys,
entertaining.
This is a great podcast.
We got 3 comedians here too, buddy.
No, it's great.
I mean, I like personally, I like hearing how people got started. I like hearing the stories about like crazy shit somebody did to like get a part.
Me too.
I love hearing that stuff
Dude,
because it's inspirational.
I was
You're
actually
like, all right.
Before I came out to LA, I used to listen to that stuff.
Dude, that's I
still do.
I used to like watch Entourage religiously.
Me too, dude.
Before I moved here,
Taking
I'm like,
notes.
is this how Hollywood is? Like, damn, like this is crazy.
And this
like,
guy's the turtle.
you know,
And it turns out Entourage was 100% right in absolutely everything.
Have you mimicked any like outlandish audition strategy that you've heard about?
You know what I will?
Victory!
Oh, from
Okay.
Entourage?
I know you two
Okay.
have both like done some
or from the podcast. Or what are you talking about?
anything from like it doesn't need to be Entourage.
Well,
but just,
stuff we've learned through Ryan's class that we've perfected through Screen Actor System, but also it's something that Johnny Drama used to do. He used to do the pattern interrupt right before he goes into.
I haven't tried that yet.
We do it. We used to do it all the time, and we've done it multiple times.
Better for commercial auditions.
It's better if you're in the middle of the day and they're seeing kind of the same stuff. It's better if you have a small part. If it's a big part, it's different. But if you only have a line or two or a few lines and they see the same 3 lines throughout the whole day, and you're in the middle of the day, if you just do something that throws off the pattern, Johnny Drama used to go that, and that used to wake everybody up. And all of a sudden they're paying attention. This is different from everything we've seen, and that's actually kind of a smart thing if you can calibrate.
Fair enough.
Lately, my pattern interrupt lately is to say the words total, I mean it totally, hey, great to see you again. And even if I haven't seen them at all before, and then they're just like slightly like, oh yes, hello.
Well, they feel obliged to have some sort of kinship, like
Exactly.
Okay.
yeah.
Like,
do you think? I think that is great. That the like thing.
Well,
if it's
that was Johnny Drama.
okay, but you guys did that in an audition and it worked.
we booked
We
it,
have
right?
done it. We have done it, but it's not something we regularly.
And it's
do.
almost better if you have 2 people in the room,
Right.
Because then that's the
Because-
camaraderie.
It feels a little safer.
Well,
Exactly.
Well, because the camera guy and the people, not us, see 2 people kind of like in unison doing it. They're like, oh, maybe I should know what that is.
Exactly.
But do you like? Is that the thing? The Johnny Drama thing? Is that something that you would seriously consider doing? Something of that
I mean,
intensity?
we have done it. And
Okay,
it has
in
booked
a
us where-
more if it's not
I
you
wouldn't.
two, it's
I
like,
wouldn't blanket say just do it. It's
I have not done it in the last year in my
It's
my
not-
own things because it's different when there's 2
well,
people.
the problem is, and this is, I find that I don't want to give too much of a bro-y or frat type attitude when I go into these rooms, and sometimes when you do a Tim Taylor grunt from Home Improvement, it kind of seems
Wilson
like
gets offended.
it seems too macho almost.
Also, one time, because Aaron and I discussed that even by ourselves, like, hey, what can we do instead of that? One time, Aaron and I, instead of doing that, hey, went in the room, greeted everybody, like, hey, great to see you, like we knew them, turned to each other and said in unison, I love you, and then turned back and just stared, as if nothing was wrong.
Did not book it, but it was fun. It was fun to try.
Did not book it.
Director was like, great, thanks for coming in. We haven't done the audition. That's fine. We get it.
I feel like you're always. I was thinking about what do you guys think after having been here for a while, a casting director wants, and like how much does it change between casting directors? I'm sure there's some that would respond really well to that kind of thing.
A casting director just wants you to
They just want you to be the part.
kill the part so they can take
just
credit
make it
for you.
make it super super easy.
And like be present. I feel like as present as you can. You did all the homework, you know, at home.
Well,
Be present, and then
the worst thing, and I feel like this is a mistake. I'm always trying to fight against, but especially when you're new or you try and fight against, is the willingness to please. I could do it this way. I could do it that way. It's better if you just have your one way that you think is great, and they can take it or leave it. I think that's way better than a casting director is immediately turned off from all the people trying to please them.
Well, do you feel like it's useful to be able to just change on a dime? Because I feel like I've landed parts before because I did it one way and then I got a note and I was able to be like, okay, I'll just shift the entire thing over. And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to be malleable.
It's useful, but it's almost
Coming in with like a strong game plan generally isn't going to like hurt you too much, but you have to hope that they give you a chance to do it differently.
And I even think it's better if, say you do it the one way, which is pretty good, they give you a note. It's better to go full force, take the note, make it totally different. And even if it's not as good, I would think that it would be better because then in their mind they're thinking, well, I just gave them the wrong note, but they can definitely like switch it up and do whatever. That's what I think.
I mean, I think overall you're better off taking a risk than not doing.
Well, is it
too.
Is it better to go full force taking the note even if you think it's bad? Or
Yeah, I think come in with your own weird thing,
because you got the first take.
and then they're like,
I'm
do
saying
a redirect,
the
and
first
then do
take,
whatever they want.
Okay, so the second take, because Johny, dude, this guy books like no other.
I don't book like no
Every
other, but-
procedural cop
This guy
show on
books.
TV.
No, but he's a good actor. He's a good actor. Who's
booked-
who's
good
booked
actor, he
stuff,
books.
right? Hey, have you booked? I think.
Hey,
yeah,
have you
yeah.
booked? Are you on network TV? Hey,
I've booked stuff. But,
Okay.
But I would say, okay, so my suggestion is like, I think what these guys are doing is better. You're better off taking a risk in auditions than like playing it safe. That's my biggest thing. I think you're better off coming in raw, not knowing any of the lines. Like just, I'm not saying don't do that, but I'm just saying like, if I wasn't to err on the side of like being more raw as opposed to being more polished, I go raw.
Well,
Henry Winkler booked his role as Fonzie. He's dyslexic or something, and he learned the first couple lines, and then he just improv
Right.
from there.
I think
Exactly.
This is kind of what I was getting. Like, I think that we, like especially in class, got taught a type like, and going back to Barry Lyndon, it's like that minimal movement kind of acting is a very particular thing.
I think it doesn't work for auditions.
Right. In auditions,
Doesn't
no
go.
one is like,
you don't think it works for auditions?
You cry in auditions.
Well, what do you?
You need to make strong choices.
Well, what about callbacks though?
I think
What about callbacks?
I think it works for on set.
yeah.
Not even callbacks.
Nope.
Director callbacks.
Nope.
Really?
Nope.
But here's the thing: the training was for
I
on
abandoned
set.
all that shit.
The training was for on set. It was not for auditions.
I think all that stuff is good for on-set training, knowing, being aware of the camera when it's like right in front of your face or when it's over here, whatever it is, or on this lens and that lens, whatever. But when you're not auditioning or shooting on a shitty Sony Handycam, like way the hell over there, that's like an SD, not even high quality, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You know
And
what I mean?
no casting director and probably not even a producer is going, does this guy know how to hold a frame? Like, I mean, assuming you're not,
Well, if you're not
Going
crazy,
I think all they care is like, is he the character?
does he feel right?
Are they the character?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the character's vibe.
Which is why I say
Fantastic.
go in and just be present. You know, do the homework, whatever, but you go be present, and then
but not even.
I think that's
but
the
what
first
about,
step.
But Johnny, what about if you are with the director, and probably skilled directors would want somebody who understands minimal movement.
It depends.
Not that that's the only thing, but I'm just saying.
I think it depends on what the director is. If it's a director that you know that's like familiar with their work, then maybe you kind of play more toward what they do. But if it's not, you're not familiar with them, I honestly would just
But isn't any
show the character.
Isn't any A-list director and half of B-list directors, they want somebody who
they want someone that can take direction.
but who also isn't going crazy with the head moves.
Well, there's a difference of going crazy and just not. You know what I'm
The-
saying?
the-
Like,
the-
there's a difference.
And I would say
you can still
happen-
be more
and it's a-
animated and still like contain the movement so much.
And also,
They-
I would say it depends what you're auditioning for. Like a small under 5 part, it's like they just need you to, you know, not ruin it.
You just say the line and move the story.
Pretzels
Yeah.
are making me thirsty.
Exactly.
Right. If you're moving, it's like you might move a lot and it might be like a real betrayal of like minimal movement, but I don't think anyone is going to say he doesn't have his minimal movement. It'll just read as like, he's just not right. Like that's what it'll come out being.
I think you're better off like just doing
I think being
random
present.
shit.
Right.
Yeah.
as opposed to being absent.
No, as opposed to coming in with all these preconceived,
Yes.
like can't do this, can't do that, whatever.
Right.
No, study however you want, but go in totally open to play. And when you take that direction from the director, when
And
he gives
I'd
it.
always think come in as the character.
Yeah.
I always say come in as the character.
Well, I know you've had some success recently with that.
And like I listened to I don't know if you guys watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, but comedian actor JB Smoove, like
I saw it.
he's hilarious.
I know what you're gonna
On Stern, he talked about how when he auditioned for that part on Curb Your Enthusiasm, he came in as the character of Leon. And he's like, "Oh, dude, I got this character right away." In the waiting room, I was already like hanging out like I'm fucking Leon. You know what I mean? And when he walked in the room, he's like, "Yo, what's up?" You know, like he kind of came in already, and he's like, "All right, JB, you're gonna be improvising with Larry, this and that." He's like, "All right, Larry, you gonna fucking improv? You gonna fucking improv?" And he's just like, "What?"
And they said for a second they didn't get it, but
Yeah.
they quickly caught on and found it hilarious.
Yeah, and then he kind of kept rolling with it, and it just like they were like, "This is the guy." He's like later he said that they didn't even know what Leon was like, but then they saw it right in front of them.
Now, do you feel like you have to give them some little reminder note, kind of like, "Hey guys, just acting"?
Only
like,
if you
wink,
play
wink.
like a killer. If you're playing like a killer, then
Yeah.
yes, give them that little comfort wink or whatever. But
Otherwise, just let it go, let it ride.
I think so.
I
Yeah,
think-
because I think he's playing
Judge the room.
he's playing a comedic character. Like it's
Right.
like
and
he's not gonna hurt nobody.
And also, you're good at this. You're good at this. Everybody is like, read the room. If it's getting weird, then address it and then keep going.
Right.
We can all read the room. Well, we can.
I think there's. I was thinking back on like on all the times I've had the ability to ask like, "Oh yeah, like why'd you cast me?" Like what, if I ever have the chance to like talk to the person that did it,
And
like
then they
feature
start
films.
questioning, like, oh, I don't know.
So like, I'm thinking about it. They never address anything technical. It's never technical. It's
Yeah.
always just like, yeah, you're just right, and it's never specific. It's always just a feeling. It works, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, so look, I've recently been studying with this guy, John Dapolito from New York.
Did
He's
you
a
speak highly of him?
phenomenal acting coach. I just finished a 3-week intensive with him, 3 days a week, all plays. It was hard. It was heavy. The most in-depth script analysis I've ever done on anything. And he has a audition class that focuses on TV and film. And like his big thing, which to me makes more sense because I've always been more of an organic actor, is that like all you're doing is like when you come in, like the lines don't really matter. It's like they just want to see the character. That's all they want to see. Like they know you can learn and read lines. Everyone, the last 20 people that came in front of you have done that.
Isn't
he's
the
like,
ideal thing both know the lines, but then
hopefully,
you don't need them?
yeah, hopefully. But
You-
it's like,
the more important thing is be the character. Ideally, use some of the lines.
right. If you kind of mess up the lines or you kind of change them a little bit, like as long as like the whole message isn't changed, like that's still there. And I think that like there's a lot of value in that because if I was casting something and I'm like, damn, like that dude gets the character. Like,
Right.
yeah, he didn't nail quite the lines, but like, damn, he gets it.
But does the casting director or associate, would they be able to define that?
That
I don't know. It depends.
Wait, and Johnny, and I agree with you. Just like that makes sense to me. But I feel we were talking to maybe it was Jen, maybe it was some person, some writer, whatever.
Michael Testa.
Maybe, yeah, Michael Testa. And he was like, well, they'll yell at me. If I send you through, they'll be like,
I think that's a personal preference, maybe.
Right.
I think it's a personal preference.
if the lines are not down, he'll get yelled at.
that's what somebody told
Yeah.
us.
I mean, I'm not saying.
I think it was probably the
I'm not saying
casting director.
abandon all the lines.
I don't
I'm
remember
like
that.
just ignore them.
Like a full improv, probably.
Yeah,
might
like don't
not
do a
be
full improv. Like,
advised.
yeah, I haven't even looked at this.
Well, I think what he said was something to like, he doesn't just want somebody to go rogue and not care
Wait,
about
and
them. You need to care about them.
I almost think it was Dan De Lorenzo we asked from a director standpoint. He's a comedy director, and he was like,
but he hadn't directed TV though.
True.
So
I don't-
that's a
good
different-
point.
I don't remember him saying that.
All right, well, somebody.
Like, okay, for example, like it was a small role, but when I auditioned for The Rookie, it was a small part. I was playing a guy that like
The movie or?
No, it was a TV show on ABC. And I was auditioning for this guy that was getting into an argument with this other guy because he had used the barbecue I was going to use at some picnic or whatever. Right? Very basic scene.
You were the cold open, correct?
Maybe like 6 or 7 lines or something, right? And I read through the scene, and like John's approach is like, well, just come up with an idiom or a proverb that sums up this entire scene and just play that the whole time. So I read the scene, and I'm like, okay, this is an argument. What's the argument about? The argument is that I got here first. That was the argument. So all I told myself in my head was like, this argument is literally like, I was here first.
To where?
That's my argument.
To the grill.
To the guy I was arguing with. Like, he's like, no, my cooler was here. No, my thing was here. Like, no, I was here first. That's the argument, right?
Right.
So when I walked in there, I literally, at the very top of the scene, when they were like, you're rolling, I literally said that line, like, I was here first.
Yeah.
And that's not even in the script. I said that in the audition, and then we just kept going through the lines. They were confused for a second, like, what? Like, that's not on the script. They're like, I was like, no, I was here first. And then we just kept going through the lines or whatever. We did the thing. That was it. And I got it.
Right.
I'm not saying that was the case, but like,
No callback? You just got it?
no callback. I just got it. But the thing is that like, in my head, I simplified the entire scene to like, the lines don't matter so much. All I know is dude, I'm arguing with you right now, and I was here first.
And percentage-wise, how much of the lines did you do? Did you end up doing 80%?
Yeah, I got them like 90% right. But I kind of changed a few words.
But they weren't
here
as
and there.
important as
no,
the
but
idiom.
I did one take, and they were like, yeah, that was good.
Well, I think the guy who played Champ on Anchorman, you know that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Who's also in The Office.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
The bald
but
guy.
Yeah.
With the Champ.
You know a lot of shit.
Cowboy hat. He went to a certain comedy school, like I think it was the Groundlings or something, where they teach basically just if like your character given one property, like maybe the property is glass or a glass bottle, and that's what you're going to embody in the performance, in the audition, and it just gives your mind a way to just simplify it, focus on one thing, and all of a sudden, you get really specific by embodying this glass.
We all think of the guy who played Champ as a great actor.
You knew who I was talking about.
No,
you knew who I was talking about.
I would say he's one of the funniest actors. I would love to work with him.
Having like a simple thing is probably just like one particular quality that you're referencing is probably better than just like having like, I
I wrote out this
10 different things I
backstory.
need to like go through, and like I'm remembering my mother.
And I
like,
almost feel like, yes, the casting director will say, no, you should learn the lines. But, I agree with Johnny that it's...
just put yourself in like in the position of casting something. Like you've made a movie, you've made a TV show. What are you going to be casting off of? It's like if somebody comes in, it's like for the most part, it's just going to be like, does this work? Does this make sense? Is he telling me something I didn't know about this character? And then like you'll worry about, all the other minimal stuff when you get on set, or you won't worry about it at all,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Dude, we had a fan submission for a theme song. Did you want to hear it?
Lay it on me.
Can't remember if it's the purple or the blue.
And if he gets it wrong, we got to wait till that takes place.
We're gonna wait.
There's no cancel function on this like soundboard.
We can turn it down, so we don't have to listen.
All right.
But give us your honest, just like take.
Yeah, here it is. It's just a Johnny Ray Diaz.
And the Arnold twins.
We're listening to the fan submission.
Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live in Hollywood. Hollywood, Hollywood. Tell me what it's like to live in Hollywood.
A fan sent this in.
That's amazing. I mean,
Wait for it. It's pretty much it.
He drops our names.
No, he did that in the beginning.
Oh.
We missed Johnny Ray Diaz. Got the Arnold twins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's it.
Hollywood, Hollywood.
Rap over it, dude. Rap over it.
I think that's actually that's perfect.
Dude, that's our fans, dude.
You have one very talented fan.
Well, but give it some adjectives, like reaction.
This is the beginning. You missed the beginning.
Now presenting
This is the beginning.
Johnny Ray Diaz. Ha. Yeah,
I like that. Ha.
and the Arnold twins.
He uses twins. They don't say names.
Arnold twins. So that was it. That was it. What?
Some adjectives. What are your initial thoughts?
Dude, is this a stalker? Or?
I think you're gonna have to have this guy on the podcast.
He
lives in Ohio.
Yeah.
Wow.
But did
Is
you
this your cousin?
Guys, what else are we talking
You're from
about
Ohio.
tonight?
college buddy?
I want.
Pushing an hour and a half.
I want to keep going, but
I'll go
because we're
as
just
long
gonna,
as you fucking
wait,
want.
We're just gonna talk off. Here's the thing: the hardest part about this episode.
All right, here's my second critique about
is
your
how long
fucking
it's gonna take
podcast.
to export this baby.
we didn't
and upload
invite
it.
you on to
Okay.
talk, dude. Aaron, go on.
I just said the hardest part of this episode with the length is just how it's gonna take longer to export and upload it. But
That is a lot.
it's a small price to pay because once we turn this mic off, it's just gonna be us talking.
Yeah, go on.
If you're gonna have somebody tell you what it's like to survive in Hollywood, maybe just let them talk. Just have a conversation.
Maybe just go to Skid Row
because they'll reveal some things.
and hear it from
Okay? We don't need to direct anything. Just let it fucking ride.
Are you happy?
In what sense?
Are you happy? Like where your life is at?
Just give it to us.
I
dude.
mean, nobody's 100% happy.
I mean, I'm not happy.
I'm not happy.
Let's hear it from you.
I'm not happy either.
But why?
Why?
Just kidding. It's fine.
I am happy.
Get out.
But let me hear from you, Johnny.
Mad. Now I'm less happy than I was before.
Convince me otherwise, though.
About what?
Or like, why do you say that?
Why are you attacking?
Why
him?
do you say that?
Dude, you're attacking me.
Why do
All
you
right.
why do you say you're not
This is
happy?
It was a lot of fun.
Why are you combative, man?
I'm not combative.
I thought we had a great,
That
great podcast.
just by
I thought
saying
we were-
just by saying you're not combative, that's a
Well,
combative statement.
Johnny Ray
Well, I
Diaz.
feel like if you're being accused of being combative, then
Is life a
That's
bit? Is
combative.
life a bit to you?
Well, Johnny, why aren't you happy?
Oh man, I'm so unhappy with life.
Just because your Jewishness?
I mean, even though you
What?
What?
because you grew up on.
Whoa, dude! What does that
I don't
mean?
know about that.
Are you Jewish?
I'm not Jewish.
No.
Whoa.
I
The
don't-
hell are you
Dude,
talking about, dude?
I'm like
are you Jewish?
I'm Jewish, but no, I'm
You
not
guys
Jewish.
look Jewish. Are you guys Jewish?
Whoa! How is that not worse than what I said?
You guys are Arnold Stein? Is that what it is? The
No,
name?
just because Johnny grew up on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Love that show.
That makes him.
I grew up on Seinfeld, dude. Grew up on Seinfeld.
But hey, why aren't you happy? Anybody can answer that. Besides Aaron.
Just
I'd love to be,
Besides Aaron.
I think a better question is, why the fuck are you?
Well, I'm happy to be here with you guys, and like, no. Let me finish. We're grinding out this city together.
Okay, here's another thing about
we're-
being in Hollywood that if you can move to Hollywood, you're gonna have to get used to. Okay, I'm
wasn't
not talking to
finished.
you guys. I'm just talking to the audience. You're gonna have to get used to people really talking about the grind, grinding it out, and making a big point of being on the grind.
Hey, man, I'm on Grindr. What else you want?
This is a big thing here.
I always refer to it that
Yes.
way. The grind.
No, but
Get used to sort of saying
we're
that
in the
and hearing
trenches
it.
together. We're all getting the
Right,
same
we're-
breakdown.
What is this, a war?
Yeah, it's this big
Yeah.
meat grinding World War
It
I
is a
situation.
war.
Yeah. Okay.
No, because when you first
Our grandparents survived Hitler. We survived Hollywood.
No, because Johnny, thanks. When you first come to Los Angeles, you probably remember 5-6 years ago, and
Got here 2
you
years
come
ago.
and
Yeah, I
you
was gonna say you hasn't been
5
here
years
that
ago
long.
for you.
and you're going.
And me.
You know,
You've been here half a decade. I just landed, but go on.
and dude, please listen. And you're going down Hollywood. You're seeing all the movie billboards. You're seeing all this stuff. It's like there's such oh my god, I can't believe how much they promote movies here. It's so cool. Like I saw a celebrity here. There's a sense of awe at first, and then after a while, it becomes the grind.
Fades away.
It becomes the grind. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
When you first came to Hollywood,
It's
it was
like
so
I said,
it was so cool.
I feel like I have a good way of putting it, which is about how I've been putting it. Psychological maintenance. Yeah.
That was it.
Hey, that's the title of this episode.
What do you mean psychological maintenance?
The same thing you was talking about
no,
jujitsu.
I don't think that applies to what I
Jitsu,
was
baby.
saying.
No, I agree. You get here and it seems like la-di-da. I mean, you...
No, that's not what I was saying. It seems cool and exciting when you get here.
Opportunity, a land of opportunity.
Right. I mean, anybody who's coming here with that full-blown in their mind, I mean, everybody needs to know that is obviously not what's going to happen. It's always going to be a challenge.
But you don't know that though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like I sort of did. I knew it was going to be
You
something.
don't know life is going to be challenging.
Life
If you listen to this podcast,
Is-
you will.
is life hard?
Wait, but Johnny, I agree with you. But what I was saying is like when I hear that your film's in a film festival or Johnny booked The Rookie or whatever, we're in the trenches together, man. We're grinding this out together.
Because these people you're coming up with, just like comedians come up with certain people, you're coming up with these people.
Yeah, it's good.
Does that make you happy?
It's good to have a community.
Look,
Thank you for admitting that.
So there it is. There it is.
So
there it is.
analytical.
See, my goal is to be like Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Just make whatever the hell you want.
That's everybody's
and
goal.
bring all your friends with you.
No, that's interesting. That's
the way to do it.
Well, here's the
dude.
thing. A lot of people dislike him now. I loved him in the beginning.
You
still
wanna-
making
do you want to
millions.
be?
I'm not
like
saying
that?
he's making good stuff, but he's okay. He's a multimillionaire. He's comfortable.
but people
He's like,
used
where
to-
are we shooting this movie? Alaska? No.
No,
Hawaii?
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
do that.
People used to say the same thing about like Happy Gilmore and Mr. Deeds. These movies are shit.
No,
And
dude, Mr.
those-
Deeds is great.
Oh, Happy Gilmore is great. Mr. Deeds is great. But now people say like the same kind of thing, but they forget that his old movies weren't that. They were great.
But I just want to say, even the successful cast members on SNL now, they all want the Adam Sandler
Yeah,
Of
they
course they
Endgame.
do, dude.
And even those other 10
Totally,
cast
dude.
members, half of them aren't going to get that.
Think about it.
So it's like that is the ultimate dream, but that's,
some 10-picture deal with Netflix or whatever the hell he's got.
I'm saying,
like,
give up on that
please,
dream.
dude. Any of those SNL guys would love that.
That's all you really want.
Good.
Dude, all I want is, dude, I want to just like, I want to have fun, make fun shit with my friends, and make money.
And get paid for it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Duplass Brothers.
Freedom.
Dude, the Duplass, that'd be awesome. Yeah. Make sure you want to get paid for it, and have fun.
Maybe find an escort
So Johnny,
at the local burger place.
do you promise,
Throwback.
or could I invite you to come back on this podcast 1 year from today?
What was that look for?
Well, you laughed.
Just
Yeah.
the-
you-
yeah, just
you
the-
scoffed.
Just the utter. I need you on my side.
Because I knew it was leading to something ridiculous.
Johnny was just laughing how formal it was. Like,
Dude,
we're all just chilling.
Dude,
and
it was
very
just
Look,
an invitation.
Look, good sir.
No.
Look.
Johnny, I need you to listen to what I say so I can talk to this Johnny and say, 1 year from today, I would love it if you would come on this podcast and we could, I don't know, maybe do a
Finally do it right.
do it right. Do a reaction video, a reaction to this first podcast. Say how we just talk. No,
The
not
full 95
not
minutes.
react, but talk about how we've changed, how life is different.
Yes, of course. I'm in this together in the trenches, grinding it out with you guys. Of course, I'm gonna be there.
I don't believe you, dude.
We'll see.
All right, serious
Get in
question.
touch with my people.
Serious question, though. I know you mentioned this last time I saw you. Are you thinking about moving?
I'm always thinking about
Why?
where I could go.
But where? Where are you going to go and why?
Back to your family.
I mean, I think I get a lot more attention in the Southeast.
I'm not familiar with this.
Atlanta. I'm not familiar either.
Yeah.
So
Atlanta's a good market.
is it Atlanta? Is that what you're talking about? Mm-hmm. You want to move to Atlanta?
You can get an agent in Atlanta. You have one, and I have one. And
I
have one.
barely have any auditions from over there, but yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is harder because you're not there, but
right.
I mean, it's all self tapes anyway. I mean,
I'm not.
Right.
But how? What is the percentage? 70%? Or like, I'll probably be.
Well, it's a little bit weird because I don't have a theatrical agent right now. But just in general, I get like The Good Lord Bird is a show that's getting cast out of Virginia. They have a Hollywood office, but like
what is that? Is that a show on?
Anybody?
Showtime.
It's a Showtime
Anybody
show.
heard of that show he just mentioned?
never heard of it.
But it's on Showtime.
Ethan Hawke is producing it. No
Who's
big deal.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, so Showtime. That's cool.
Yeah. That's one that I've just like been going out for a lot.
But here's the thing.
But movies come to there, a couple times a year.
Well, here's
the
the
Marvel
thing.
movies?
Atlanta is a hot market. I don't think there's any denying that. Didn't we just talk to somebody who said move to Atlanta? Who was that? Austin and I talked to somebody for sure who said Atlanta is hot.
I mean,
Who was our guest before? Sam.
but I mean, there's a lot of work down there. I was just there. Like, I was working over there.
There is work. But what I'm afraid of,
You might meet new people.
you're not making roots. That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah. I mean,
And in 2 years,
Do you
you'll
think
leave that place too.
But the opportunity, listen, obviously, if you could get more work, you'd fucking do it. But so is that the case? You think you'd get more work? I don't really know. I've never thought about
maybe.
that much.
I think that just everybody has to calculate like what lets you feel good about your day to day. Like what makes sense for your career in the long run. It's like if you could spend 3 years in LA, like a lot of people do, not booking, not working, a lot of competition, Or maybe you get like a couple parts on the East Coast and you're kind of squared away and you come back and you just like approach them from that angle.
You got some credits.
I got a buddy that moved to Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm going to be the only black guy there. He lived in LA for 10 years, man. Barely ever worked.
Yeah.
Moved to Vancouver.
Or how about this? Just
Killing it, dude.
I don't know. Like, if this place sucks,
Which place?
LA, or whatever place you're in, and you feel like you need to go somewhere else, and then you can really sort of like get going on a project yourself and just like write it up, produce it with people you know. I mean, assuming there's like an infrastructure in place to film something where you're from or wherever you want to be, just bang that out, come back here, you have a thing, you have a short. It's something to like talk about, something to pitch.
You can film a short here.
You can film a short anywhere,
Oh.
but that's what I'm saying.
You
So
can?
it's like, just assess.
Wait, and that's a fair thought because I'm sure we've all thought about that because there's other hot markets where you can be a bigger fish. But what's the percentage for you? It's like I'm like 50-50 right now that by next year I probably won't be living here. Or for you right now?
You're 50-50?
No,
Or
I'm just giving
hypothetically?
an example. For you,
I'd say it's like 50-50. I mean, I'm
pretty substantial.
Here-
50-50 is
here in
not
Atlanta?
it's not allowed. You got to go 51-49.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I'm evenly split. I'm just seeing how it goes from moment to moment.
I will tell you that when I moved to LA, which October makes 7 years, when I first got here and I didn't know a damn thing, I don't think I booked anything for like a whole year and a half, maybe. I think I booked one thing in a year and a half.
When you first get here, you got to like find a place to
Yeah,
live.
for the
Yeah,
first
it was
year,
like
I
it was
agree.
like a print job or something. Like that was like the first thing I ever booked that paid me like a couple $100 and that was it.
Right.
And then
Me too.
I think the first like 2 years, man, I can't even count on my one hand like what I booked because it was so small.
Right.
Like it was like nothing. And I literally was like, you know what? Am I just like, what am I doing?
Well, how long have you been out here?
You know?
2 years exactly, almost.
There you go.
A little more.
I was literally like, what am I doing with my life?
Dude,
Maybe I
that's
should
not
move
that
back
much
home.
time. Dude, that's not.
Most people leave, within the first 4.
Yeah, it's not that. Dude, the way you're talking, I feel like you've been out here as long as us.
Look, if you leave, dude, Aaron's going to be really sad.
It's true. Despite everything he said in this podcast, it's going to be sad.
Johnny,
Glad we got you on before you left, man.
Yeah.
Have a great trip.
It's a pleasure.
I'll drive you to the airport.
Hey, this podcast will come out when you move, so
That'll be good. It'll be a good, in a year when I come back,
bring you some closure.
it'll be like, oh, this is what it was
Hey,
like.
man.
Thank God it's over.
Go fuck yourself, dude. We're here in the
Whoa,
trenches.
man.
We're here in the
Whoa.
we're here in the
Oh
trenches.
my gosh. Oh, here we go.
Hey, let me go to this other
artillery
war.
shell coming in.
Hey,
Oh, no.
hey, World War II, but I'm gonna
Take
go to
cover, take
Atlanta.
cover.
Yo, what about all those strong connection you made?
You guys? Like so texty, right?
Connection. Yeah, you can text us.
I'll write
about
you.
all- what about
I'm
all
gonna
those
write you a
girls?
script from Alaska.
What about all those
Okay.
girl you've met? The girl?
I'll get you her number. Relax. I still got it somewhere in my phone. Oh my god.
All right, guys, great podcast.
Hey, this is fun.
Hey, Johnny, can
This
you
was
give us
a blast.
some plugs? Where can
Yeah,
where
where
can
do-
people find you?
Where do people harass you?
IMDb, Johnny Day number 2. Still got one in
even,
front.
even on IMDb.
Yeah, but like
Instagram,
social media, dude.
Facebook,
Where can they find you?
Twitter.
I don't have social media, but
So what do you-
JohnnyDay.info.
What do you
JohnnyDay.info is my website.
Sorry, what are you plugging? JohnnyDay.info?
JohnnyDay.info.
And that's where people
That's
can
my
find
website. You see my reel.
You. All right, perfect. That's great.
Check
That's
it
all-
out.
That's all we need, man.
right.
Dude, we'll have you come back on here before you move to Atlanta.
It was a pleasure,
Maybe.
sir.
It was a pleasure being
No, we
here.
will.
Dude, this is our longest podcast ever.
Hey, you know what I think it'll be interesting?
Well,
because the podcast got really good, maybe after 30 minutes, we just start, kind of fade in 30 minutes in. We don't even release
Well,
that
I'm
first
definitely cutting the first 6 minutes where we're talking about 9/11.
Yeah,
All right,
What's wrong with that,
That was
dude?
more fun.
part. All right, yeah, just find a good place to fade in.
All right, here we go.